7 Dark Facts About the Princess Diana Tragedy Part 4. So going back to the theory that MI6 killed Princess Diana after Prince Philip put a hit on her, a couple other pieces of evidence that point to that maybe being true. There was a witness that testified to the police what he saw. He was an American that was in a taxi in the tunnel that night. And according to him, he said there were 3 motorcycles following the Mercedes that Diana was in, and they were kind of swarming it. He said one of the motorbikes swerved as if it was trying to pull along the side the back windows of the Mercedes. I remember at this point saying to the taxi driver, "This guy's effing crazy." The bikes were in a cluster like a swarm around their Mercedes. He described seeing a bright light in the tunnel just a fraction of a second before hearing the crash. I was looking to the right. I caught the flash out of the extreme corner of my left eye. It hit me on the left side of my face. At first I thought it may have been a camera flash, but now I feel it had a far greater intensity. The flash happened before the impact and the sound of the impact. The official story says that that was just paparazzi taking photos. But how many paparazzis do you know that are driving motorcycles in swarms like they're agents? And then there's this guy, Richard Tomlinson, who was an ex-MI6 agent. He actually testified and said while working at MI6, he saw assassination plans that looked exactly like Diana's, where they staged a fake car accident in a tunnel using a blinding flash device. But they didn't take his claim seriously because they said he was a disgruntled ex-employee who had been fired, and then they tried to take him to court because he was going to write a book about what his experiences were like working for MI6, and they said that was a threat to national security. So to me, that sounds like he's even more credible. And then we have this guy, James Anderson, and his story makes me question the official story the most. He was a paparazzi photographer that worked directly with Princess Diana leading up to her death. He had an agreement with Diana where he was able to get photos of her for 30 minutes a day while she was in Saint-Tropez on the yacht, but then she had to be left alone for the rest of the day, and that made him super rich, and she was able to control her image a bit more. Well, remember the white Fiat Uno that was in the tunnel that night and they accidentally bumped into them? Well, apparently that white Fiat had a golden retriever dog with a red bandana in it as well. And come to find out, this dude also owned the white Fiat, and his wife confirmed that they had a golden retriever dog with a red bandana. After Princess Diana's death, he went on to brag to friends that he had some photos from in the tunnel because he was there that night in the white Fiat, and he got away without having to give up his photos like all the other press did when the police got there. And he said those photos would be explosive if they ever became public. Apparently those photos proved that MI6 was involved. Now here's the thing, in the official story, the Fiat's never talked about ever again. But years later, the police were able to track it down, and it was registered to him, but it had been repainted and sold. And some of those rumors got around to the police that he was spreading about the photos, and they actually questioned him in connection to her death. And then 3 years later, he was found in a burnt BMW in the woods with a 2-inch hole in the side of his head. But the official reason he died was he took his own life, and that hole was from an explosion from the intense heat. The crazy thing is, the investigator that found his body got there when the car was still on fire, and he said his body was in the driver's seat but his head was between the seats. And apparently before he did this, he sent a note to his boss saying, "From this date forward, pay his photo royalties directly to his wife." But some think that he was forced to write that letter right before they X'd him off. And there's also some theories that she was taken out to protect the military industrial complex because she did a lot of work banning landmines, and apparently had a notebook of high level people that were profiting from them and wanted to expose all of them. But what do you think?